Hey everyone, so I'm just pulling up to the farm here. I figure I'd come on here and give a little bit of a update, make a long-term video. I haven't made a video in the past couple weeks. Not a lot's been going on. A lot of servicing machinery, oil changes, waxing, a little bit of firewood cutting, and it's really hard to make a 15-20 minute video and keep it entertaining doing that stuff. So brought the little 8-inch auger home. I want to pull this up by the shop first thing, but the one tire has a slow leak. Double check the air pressure in the tires. I want to get it greased, and then the spout on the end I believe could use some attention. It's just kind of taped up there, so we'll take a look at that. We brought the auger up here because we do have corn that's got to go out in March. It's March 1st now, and we're going to be hauling out of the home farm instead of the bin site. Here in the shop, we got the Challenger 765. If you've been watching the channel, I made a handful of YouTube shorts the past couple weeks, and I did a little mini YouTube short series on this. This is pretty much ready to go. I need to wax it yet, but everything else you would see from the shorts. Oil, filters, you know the drill. Oil in the hubs, clean the cab, yada yada. So this is going to be field ready. It being the 1st of March, we do have some corn scheduled to go out. Today's Friday. I'm going to call and make sure that I don't have corn to go out first thing Monday morning. I know they had some trouble over at the ethanol plant. I heard they're kind of backed up right now, so I really don't think I'm going to get in next week, but I'm going to call, because if I can, I want to make sure that the truck is fueled, greased, and hooked up and preloaded, so that way Monday morning I can just jump in the truck first thing. Don't have to worry about any of that stuff or getting loaded. I can just jump in, go. The loader and forklift are both kind of buried in the barns, so I'm just gonna hand push it over there. It'll be faster. Luckily the tires aren't low enough to where it's hard to push, so I pumped them up when I drug it home a few days ago, but I didn't have a gauge with me, so I want to check and see where they're at. As you can see, the spout's all kind of taped up there and not where it needs to be. I'm gonna see if I can untape it and see if I can just tighten it up, but maybe somebody didn't have tools that day or what's going on. But yeah, almost got all the tape off. I'm not sure why one of us would have just not tried to tighten it up, or maybe we did. I'm gonna put new bolts on here anyways, because it looks like there's not many threads left to get it much tighter, so that could have been the reason why we taped it, or we just didn't have tools with us. Dad's had this auger for as long as I can remember, and we've only had a seed tender the past couple years. So if we had seed beans in a wagon that didn't have an auger on it, we would have used this to transfer them, and maybe we didn't have wrenches and just taped it up one day, but the tape was dry, so that's probably why it slid down again. And yeah, we'll just pull it apart and get it fixed right. Got the rest of the tape off and the spout off. I'm gonna pop open this cover really quick while I got the auger laid down, assuming that there's a greasable bearing behind the cover here. We'll take a quick look. No grease lurk, so I'm just gonna put the cover back on, but before I do, I'm gonna throw some oil on this chain, or maybe even grease. It looks pretty dry. Well, that's a bit better. I had it tight, turned the camera off, and then I got looking at it. I had to slide it back a little bit further. Obviously the thing's kind of bent and beat up, so it's never gonna be perfect. I got a little bit of a gap there, but that's as close as I'm gonna get it. Got one greaser down here at the bottom. I'm gonna put these at 25 pounds, not a lot. This thing is ready to load some corn. Got the tires pumped up, it rolls so much nicer now. That, and I think I'm going downhill just a little bit. Finally putting a coat of wax on the Challenger now. I just got off the phone a minute ago. Sounds like I'm not gonna get preloaded for Monday morning or haul any grain this coming week, which is fine. There's plenty of stuff to do around here. It seems like I've been in the semi, I've said this multiple times, pretty much all winter really. And then I just kind of nibble on machinery here and there. But get some of these other projects done and get the tractor's field ready, like I said. It being March, not quite ready to tile just yet. Maybe if we had a bigger tile plow, like a Braun, an actual tile machine, we could probably be in the fields working today. But that being said, I kind of have planting on my mind. So next week somewhere, I'm probably gonna try to get the air seeder or the corn planter in here and start going through those, servicing it, and checking things over, making sure that it's field ready, just like the tractors. I'd say this thing is done. I'm gonna pull this out and I'm gonna clean up the barn floor here. And I need to decide what I'm gonna put in here next. The Challenger over by the grain bins and just kind of get it out of the way if I want to move stuff in and out of the other barns. Just park it here for a few hours, and then at nighttime I'll put it back away. Here it is. Looks pretty good. Doesn't look too bad. Hopefully we can just park it in the machine shed right next to the field cultivator and hook on that, and that'll be the next time we use it. The only other time I see us using it before spring tillage is hooking it on the tile plow and using it as a tow vehicle, which hopefully doesn't happen. Spent quite a bit of time cleaning it up, making it look pretty, and just to get it covered in mud. If that would be the case, probably if we're using it as a tow vehicle, it's probably muddy conditions. That being said, is what it is. Doesn't do us any good just sitting in the shed looking pretty either. So I decided I'm gonna get the Rogator in the shop next. Got some new BKT tires on the Rogator. We decided to go this route instead of trying to buy rims and a bunch of different tires. So, but that being said, I was busy in the semi. Dad went and got tires put on this, and it's winterized now, but it kind of got pulled out of the shop before I was done with it. Still need to replace all the sprayer tips. So I'm gonna pull this in the shop, replace all the tips, check everything over really quick. Other than that, I really don't think it needs much more. I had pretty much everything done. Looks like the windows could be wiped down. Got a lot of water spots from our hard water here. That, and I haven't found any paint for touch-up paint on this yet either. But yeah, I'm gonna pull this in. Just another thing I can check off the to-do list. It's not super cold out, but the sprayer is pretty cold-blooded, so hopefully it starts here. It's been sitting for a while. Come on. I'll wait for the glow plugs one more time, see if that'll work. Let's try this one more time. Had it. She lives. I'm just gonna pull it in, and I don't plan on keeping it in the shop. I'll probably just do what I need to do quick and put it back where I found it just a minute ago. These windows are dirty. So this is what the spray tip looks like. There's a bunch of different ones we have on the sprayer, and you can just spin it what tip you want, but the majority of time we're using these turbojet tees. I mean, there's just dozens of different spray tips you can put on your sprayer, what you have set up or what you want to do. This is what we've been using since we've owned the sprayer, and they work pretty good. So I just start on one end and kind of work my way down. Well, I can see out the windows just a little bit better now. Another machine, field ready. Happy to get 2 done today, even though I kind of been working on them for quite some time, in and out. Now the next question is, what do I bring in next to get worked on? The combine could use some attention. Of course, we don't need that until fall. We don't have any winter wheat planted, so we don't even need it this summer. But all the filters and everything are right there ready to go. So we can do oil change and everything, start working on the combine and kind of go through it. That would take a few days because we had also talked about putting the tires back on and taking the tracks off. But the 8100 hasn't been touched yet, or not the 8100, the 8410 hasn't been touched yet, and the 8130 hasn't been touched yet. I don't think the 8130 needs a whole lot. I don't think we really put a whole lot of hours on that machine. I mostly just did corn planting and then a little bit of land rolling. So we gotta check the hours on that. Maybe I should get that in the barn and do that one quick next, and then I can park that in front of the corn planter, get that hooked on, and then eventually get that in the shed. Or I talked to Dad about getting the air seeder up here, which is down at the other farm, as well as the 8410. That one definitely needs to be serviced. It's still hooked up on the disc at the other farm from when we were disking corn stalks last November. So what to do first? Looks pretty good. Got a nice shine on the hood at least. The tires look better on camera than they do in person. Now the machine, field ready. Combine is sitting in front of the 8130, so if I were to fire this up, I'm kind of leaning towards might as well just put this in the shop and start picking at it. And I got a couple days of work to do to it by the time you tire change and service and go through it and everything else. And once we have it in the heated shop, we usually have somebody come out from our local John Deere dealer and do a full grocery list inspection through it, and they kind of know what to look for a little bit better than me and Dad do. So depending on what they find, if something's broken, how big of a project it would be to fix or replace, whatever, we would fix it ourselves or whatever they find. They just know what to look for a little bit better than me and Dad. So I could get this in the shop and call and see if somebody could come out and look it over while I'm also working on it, doing oil and everything else. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Let's get the combine in next. Yeah, let's get this in the shop and kind of do a machine reshuffle around here. I think I'm gonna move the 8130 and get the Challenger parked right in front of the cultivator, and there it can sit until it's ready to go to work, because that's what we're gonna hook on first. So I got the combine out now. Before I just pull it in the barn, there's a very good chance that I have some unwanted guests crawling around under here. So I'm gonna let it idle out here in the driveway for a few minutes. I'm also gonna turn on the thrasher and feeder house and the unload auger and kind of rattle the cage a little bit. If I can avoid having mice in the shop, that's a plus. So I'm gonna try to shake them out now instead of just having them get inside the shop, because then they don't really like to leave the heat. I just about have every piece of farm equipment we have here at the house running out in the driveway right now, shuffling machinery around. And to back up the 8130 to the corn planter, so when it's time we can service the 8130 and the corn planter all at once while it's in the building. I think that's the best idea. So I got almost everything put away now. A couple things I got to get in here yet, like the Challenger. Try to park this stuff the best strategic way possible. We won't have to touch these tractors back here for a few weeks probably. Eventually we're gonna have to move the sprayer at least over, because we're gonna get seed in, I'm assuming in a few weeks, and we usually stack they come in these great big boxes, the seed, and we usually stack all the boxes on the east wall there. So the sprayer is definitely gonna have to get shifted over when that comes, but that's gonna be a few weeks out yet. So there it's gonna sit, as well as the 8100. Don't plan on touching that or the 4010 really until it's go time. That's gonna probably get it hooked on the rock picker or land roller or one of those things. And 8130, like I said before, ready to hook on the corn planter. So when it's time to get that in the shop, we can service both at the same time. Well, I got the combine in here, got the tires in here, so this is ready to get worked on. But I think that's gonna do it for this video. If you made it all the way to the end, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.